Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to tonight's webinar, The 3 Pivotal Action Steps to Profit from Events. I'm Natasa Denman, and next to me
is Stuart Denman.
Yes, my right-hand man and person who has a big part in what we do around our events management. So just before we get started, let's get a few hellos in the question box. Maybe tell us where you're tuning in
Coming in from.
What
What
part of Australia? Yep, or the world, and so we can also make sure that you can hear us and see the PowerPoint presentation. Hey, Michael's from New Zealand in Wellington, and nice to see you on the call. Hey, Karen from Melton in Victoria. Radelaide. Hey,
you love Adelaide. Everyone bags it. You love it.
Savitri does. I met Savitri properly face to face 3 days ago. Emma from Sydney Business and Heels. Hey, Emma. Great to have you on the call as well. By the way, guys, we're just curious. We want to make sure that whoever's on the call, we best cater the information for you. So maybe give me a little bit of an idea of whether you have run events or not. Hey, Carla, nice to see you here as well.
Hello.
And Ian from Townsville.
North Queensland Cowboys. I better read that out because Natasha, you won't know what that is. That's not AFL. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Here's Grace from Taylor's Hill from Melbourne hanging for this and my book. The Bums on Seats book, by the way, guys, is in editing process. So we handed over the manuscript, which is that big. Now it's off my hands and into the editor's hands. Hey, Elaine. Yeah, you're not late. We're just saying hello to everybody. Warrnambool, Southwest Victoria, Business in Heels. Hey, I've got a few Business in Heels leaders on the call. That's awesome, guys. Nice to see you.
This is now starting to answer the questions.
All right. So Karen says, not as yet, but wanting to ASAP. Perfect. And I think, Karen, you're coming to my 2-day masterclass next week, so you'll be learning lots there as well. But Raven from Brisbane, we've got someone's facilitated events from Michael, run monthly networking from Emma, and masterclass workshops. Cool. Guest speaker for conferences and plan to run events and workshops. Perfect. Yet to run events. So there's a mixture of people. And Elaine, Bums on Seats is $20 at the moment, and you can get it. There is a fan page, Bums on Seats, for this particular book, guys, and you can check it out on the Shop Now button. All right, cool, excellent. Well, my big question for you guys is, realistically, before we tell you a little bit about who we are, because we know there is a few fresh names and fresh names, no faces, because we can't see you from this end. But why is it that you want to run events, and specifically where we feel we're experts in is public events? They are one of the most challenging types of events to run. So, I have certain ideas as to why I run events, but I was curious as to why do you want to run them? All right, Gracie says exposure, credibility, reach, and to serve. Perfect. Awesome. What else? What else is workshops? Okay, Carly wants to run workshops. Perfect, which then can obviously sell into other programs, or you can monetize those as well. 2 events she's got next month, Megan. Raise profile, collaborate and partnerships, raise funds for charity and support others. Great, Bron. Emma, it's my main money-making stream. Great.
I was hoping someone was going to say in the end to make some money.
To do some one-to-many work. Yes,
there's some wonderful things, but yes, to make money for someone, whether it's a charity, yourself, your company, whatever it might be.
Cool. Elaine, to get the word out to many rather than one-on-one. Feed into my funnel. Like how Megan says, feed into my funnel. Yep, so they're a funnel startup. For reach and education, as well as generate leads from Jamie Lee. Connect and one-to-many from Carla. Getting out there to extend to leads on my services and serve others and increase financial wealth and one-to-many from Karen. And last one, Irene says, to raise profile, to help other businesses, one-to-many, to leverage my time. Yeah, that's a big one,
Awesome.
to leverage your time. So as we're going through, we have got a packed out, probably the most content I've ever shared in a webinar. So I am always very mindful.
I'm excited about all your visuals this time.
Yes, I've changed my background of my slides. I'm all very excited about my new black background. It kind of looks a lot more modern and polished. I don't know, what do you guys think? But anyway, I have got a lot of content, lots of tips for you guys on this call. But most of all, I want to share maybe some of the reasons I started running events, and absolutely was to build trust and intimacy with prospects, because people do need to know us, like us, and trust us in order to do business with us. And what better way than the face-to-face? I mean, really, it truly increases that the amount of touch points you need to decreases the amount of touch points you need to have with a potential prospect to then who will then turn into a client. So whereas online, it might take in excess of 10 or 15 touch points.
Yes.
Offline, it can be as little as one. And 2 or 3 potentially, where you people will know that, hey, I know who you are, I can feel you, touch you, and therefore I'm happy to do business with you. I love it. This is my word. This is word. The word of the month for me. I read a book and I learned what this word meant. To build omnipresence over obscurity, because one of the biggest challenges with people or us in small businesses and entrepreneurs is that no one knows us from a bar of soap. So building omnipresence by being everywhere and being known by many people is so important, because if we have that, if we have the network and we have people talking behind our backs that we're doing good things, then of course our businesses will grow to our wildest imagination. But this also takes effort and action to build. As you guys know, I am on a journey to 100 events, and I will give you an update on that in a second. Okay, success is in your own hands. So when you run public events, I believe you get what you out what you put in. And I truly know that you can control how many, how little, how big your rooms are, and what you do, so long as you have the foundations and you know and learn how to hustle.
You're right. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later on, but definitely the success is in your own hands. I'll reveal a bit now. A lot of it comes down to your own promotion and your fears of actually having people come in the room, and how you go about getting people there.
I think there's a big energetic, magnetic attraction that occurs, whether or not you're open to getting bums on seats or not. And obviously, the strategies and skills that you use to get them in there. All right, the other one is it can be highly leveraged. A lot of you know that we turn over the last couple of years 7 figures in our home-based business, like we're coming to you from our 4th bedroom that's now looking out onto the pool, the newly built and filled pool. And we do this now year in and year out, and we've started 2016 with just as big a bang. So highly leveraged. That doesn't mean, you guys, that you don't do work behind the scenes, except when the work one-on-one is reduced, it's then obviously transferred in terms of the logistical process and working on getting those people in the rooms. And it guarantees you will have speaking gigs. So for those of you that want to be doing more speaking, hey, why not take it into your own hands? I actually started running events so I would fine-tune my speaking skills, and part of my events are counted as my speaking gigs throughout the year. So that's one of the reasons why I ran networking events, and I run the Ultimate Business Support Group, which many of you are members of. And if you're not, you better join because we've got 12,000 members there, and we run live monthly events in Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide, which means I actually started that for purely to give myself a speaking gig every single month, because I would work so hard to obviously get people in the room.
It's about starting somewhere. So the people that have the aspirations to, whether it's even TED-style talk or doing your own speaking on large audiences, You're not going to get those gigs unless you've earned your stripes first.
Absolutely. And I have a really cool quote that Stuart helped me come up with at the very end. We're going to share. So let's move on to, what is your biggest challenge? Because maybe if we can figure out what the people that are here live have as their biggest challenge, then perhaps we can bring in some unique content and aside from what I have prepared for you in terms of, okay, here we go. Megan says, feeling confident without notes. Okay, that is why obviously you do have PowerPoint presentation as a bit of a crutch. And that's something that I relied on heavily in the early days, and that helped me a lot. I would have one page of little cheat notes with my stories that I would have hidden somewhere underneath the notebook, but generally I wouldn't need to go back to it. Jamie Lee says getting the room full to full capacity. Yes, that is a huge challenge, Jamie Lee. Saturated market in female networking in the Sydney CBD region. People are spoiled for choice. Yes, absolutely. So how are you different? Carla says deciding on the content to present. What do I talk about? Yeah, perfect. That's everything that we're covering, guys. My biggest challenge is, do I send emails to invite the people or phone people? Well, Elaine, you know what? I would say phoning is the most powerful thing you can do. However, I'm just about to share with you guys the 10 different strategies and the 10 different 1%ers you can do to get more people in the room. So stay tuned. Karen says, getting myself out there. I talk, but doing the do out of my comfort zone, how to get numbers, how to market. Securing ticket sales from Bron. Lots of interest, but many don't. Maybe don't handing over the cash until very late booking. So enticing people to book earlier. Okay, the close, yeah, selling from the stage from Raywin. How do we do that? Okay, perfect. And many don't hand over the cash. That's all right. We got it, Ron. Perfect. All right. So I will share with you what I believe one of the biggest challenges are in terms of running events.
What we've seen over the time.
You guys covered quite a lot of them, but there was this one, content. How do I attract? How do I position what it is that I am doing so that people do want to are curious about attending that. So we'll cover that off. Fear of speaking. Look, this is not a big one if you've been doing events for a little while, but if you're just starting out, absolutely. And I think Megan had that one earlier is like, how do I speak without notes? And fear of speaking would be a big challenge for those starting out. She says, absolutely. All right, fear of promotion, right? Okay, so you can know what to do, and I will share so much with you tonight, and I can guarantee that over 90% of you guys will not do any of it, okay? And it's unfortunate that that this is the case, but a lot of people have a fear of promotion actually starting. It's almost as if there is this thing like, if I promote it and people come, what if I don't do a good job and then I'll get found out, right? There's this whole big fear of not being good enough. And the fear of not being good enough is one of our biggest fears. It's the underlying everything that we everything that we do resolves right down to the fear of not being good enough. So that's a huge one. Megan says, my motto for 2016 is just do it. And that's right. And I have a little saying is act before you feel. So don't go into your feelings first because that's where fear resides. Go into the action and therefore you will not, your fear won't be, I guess, proven at all, and it doesn't actually exist. All right, I'll read a couple of other comments that have come up in a second, but let's go with the next one. Finding a venue. Could you believe that one of the biggest challenges around when I am helping and mentoring people to getting bums on seats or building, filling up their events is about this venue, and I reckon that's a self-sabotaging behavior. It's like, oh, but I don't know the venue, or it costs too much, or I don't know which one to choose. And come on, guys, this should not be a challenge. But I'll put it out there because people come up with that excuse and delay and delay and delay.
I think we find that on 50% of people that we work with. So we had to put it up there.
We had to put it up there.
I'd love to see if anyone else finds the same thing, if they're hand on heart can say that that's one of the reasons.
I know. And what to sell? Like, what is that? How am I going to be successful in selling what I've got to offer? And to tell you the truth, early on in my event running days, which started out, I would say about 5 years ago, because I started about 6 months into my journey. So it's been 5.5, nearly 6 years. I totally didn't know what to sell. I still gave it a go. I still flunked.
Oh, they were some great times.
So I will talk to you about how to calibrate things right. And last of all, but not least, obviously bums on seats. It's like, how do we get to fill this room? Obviously we all want to be to capacity and overflowing, but at least to our numbers that we've envisioned that we want out there. And last of all, selling from the stage. The fears around, what will people think of me? Selling is a dirty word, all of those kind of things. So it's all of this stuff with the right steps and strategies can easily be handled, and you can know exactly what to do each part of the way. So we will be covering off a lot on bums and seats tonight. Of course, we cannot cover every single one of these dot points because we would be here for 2 weeks. but I will cover off very actionable. You guys know me, and those of you that don't know on the call, I'm a very, very practical person, a very big how-to person. Do this, and this, and you'll have this result. So stay tuned. I'm just going to read a couple of comments because there has been a lot that has been flying up on the screen. And thank you guys for being so interactive. I love when we get a group that's talking and I can multitask. That's one of my favorite things. Irene just said, I can relate to that fear of not being good enough and hence being a perfectionist. Yeah. I like act before you feel. Put up that sign next to your bed, in your office, and just act before you feel. And then you'll see what it's what sort of results you get. So true from Carla. Not sure if it's my speakers or what has happened. The sound. Okay, guys. So if it's sound or anything that you're losing, it's generally not us, it's you. Otherwise we would know, because the system actually tells us that its audio is poor and that we are dropping out. So we actually know when we're dropping out. So yeah, no need to put comments like that. Venues are expensive from Con, especially for a startup. Do you have a list of affordable free ones? I don't have lists. I do have the common ones that I use. I generally, my rule of thumb is not to pay more than $200 per venue. In Sydney, I've got a free venue that I use, but yeah, I don't have a list. I just kind of do the phone around and I find the venue, and that for a half-day event, $200 is my rule, and I ring and ring and ring until I find that venue. So, but you can make deals with pubs who have function rooms at the back of their area that can be for free, guys. Yes, I was procrastinating on booking a venue. Then I stopped myself, modeled you, and booked it from Grace. Very good. Very good.
That was a venue one, yep.
Wendy, I've outgrown my venue. Yes, Wendy, I know. I'm your member, and that little room is really, really getting packed now. I mean, you've gone through some ups and downs with Magnificent Women, but yeah, time to look for some new one. No excuses. Awesome. Excellent. All right, waiting until I'm ready from Alan or Sound is okay. What content to put together on a PowerPoint? Okay, we won't be covering that tonight because that would be a whole other 2-hour presentation. I found a venue which is free as long as I supply morning tea. Okay, so Megan's found one that's free. So you just got to ring around and ask the questions. I mean, that's quite time consuming, but guys, if this is important to you and you are wanting to make events successful, then once you find your venues, you then just keep going around. That's what I was just saying to Con, is I just keep reusing the same venues. Very rarely do I go somewhere different, because I also know how to set it up. I know what I'm walking into. I know where everything is. The staff know me. It's all very friendly, and ultimately they start giving you discounts if you use them again and again.
It comes down to you being confident and saying, look, I plan to run this event monthly or whatever it might be. It's going to be great promotion for you. Your venue's going to get seen by all of my people that are going to be turning up. You know, if I was in the venue management area, someone's offering me that, it's a no-brainer. You just do a deal with them. You got to ask them for a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So let me show you. In the last 5.5 years, just want to give you a bit of an insight as to what's been happening in our business and why we are sharing these insights with you. So I personally have run over 200 webinars. So this one ain't my first dance, right? And I love them. Webinars are a great way to build rapport, great way to nurture your community. So you would have noticed I'm referring to people that I know quite well that are on the call currently. So they've been on hundreds of my webinars. Probably Grace has been on hundreds, right? And Elaine. And then there's also fresh new people that are starting a relationship, and it's a great way to obviously maintain and keep adding value and giving people some gold nuggets along the way. I have hosted over 80 live private events and have spoken at over 150 other events. Then actually, I have to adjust this. We have executed 10 high-end retreats. We're in double digits now, about to go off to the 11th. We love it. They're our ultimate 48-hour author retreats, and we've helped over 110 people become first-time published authors. We have converted over $2 million in sales collectively from these events. So this is from making an offer at the end of an event or having a call to action that then converts into a sale. So this is what's been happening. We have mentored over 100 clients to do the same in their own businesses. As you guys know, we have built the online community for Facebook, Ultimate Business Support, which many of you are members of, and that's been 12,000. It's nearly at 12,000 members, not quite there, but I think it's celebrating 3 years actually this month.
It is Anzac Day.
No, Anzac Day was our first live event. I think we started in March. So I think today could be our UBS birthday. You know what? I announced today's the birthday. I'm going to put a happy birthday in our group today. And in 2015, guys, I collectively ran and spoke and hosted 72 seminar speaking gigs and retreats, obviously. So one-on-one work for us is history. And this year, as you know, I have a very bold goal to do 100 events. So my last 53 days of 2016, I have completed those 28 events. And here are some pictures of the journey of the last 58 days. It has been intense. As you can see, some events have been smaller. Some events have been bigger. I love groups anywhere between 10 and 30. The perfect kind of size for me is 15. I think you can really, really, get to know people and connect with them and add a lot of value and then remember them afterwards, right? So that's my magic number. I have got a 2-day Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclass that is at about 60 people coming. Now that's a big one. We run that 3 times a year, and that will be happening next week, isn't it? We'll tell you a bit more about it later on. So this has been my last 58 days. So you would agree, pretty intense, pretty full on. That was last week in the West. I were in Perth and Adelaide. Maybe a couple of you that are on the call will see yourselves in these pictures, but it's been huge. And about to become a 7-time author of the new book, Bums on Seats. And that's Stuart, who's coming from the call, and our kiddies. For those of you that don't know us, that's us, and we're almost 6 years into our business and absolutely loving it. So what are the 3 pivotal action steps to profit from events? I believe positioning so that people are attracted to what you've got to offer. If you're being too broad, if you're trying to be everything to everyone, then people are not they're just kind of, your messaging will get by them and won't even capture their attention. So positioning is huge around what are you selling? Are you selling your market what they want, or are you selling your market what they need? Because generally your expertise and your gold that you got within you is what they need. But what they want is to solve their problem, to fix what's keeping them awake at night. They want the magic bullet. So how can your event be that magic bullet? So have a look at, an example is tonight's webinar. Have a look at the title, 3 pivotal action steps to profit from events. So we have got the word profit, we've got the word pivotal, we have got a number of steps, which turns it into a system. And a lot of, as you can notice, and for those of you that first time listening to me, look up hypnotic language, look up hypnotic words, and sell people what they want, because we sell what we want and then we give what our clients need, which is obviously not as easy as what it sounds at the front end. But to have the opportunity to speak to your potential clients and prospects, you have to get them around what they want over what they need. So your positioning must be right. How do you test this? Well, there's so many groups out there. There's so much like social connection nowadays that you can put things up in groups before you have actually launched your event, and ask if there would be an interest of people finding out about X, Y, and Z. You might have 3 different titles for your event, and then you might test it out. Would you go to event 1, 2, or 3, or A, B, or C? And that way you can figure out, well, is anyone even answering, first of all? And if they are, how interactive and how much engagement are you getting with your post? And certainly put that post on a few different pages so that you can see if there is enough interest. For us, we don't do that anymore nowadays, because we know exactly what our positioning is. We know exactly what we're experts in, and that we've done similar stuff like this before, so therefore we know it works really well.
The good thing is we did do it, so we've been through all of this too, and the amount of testing, because I was always coming up with these titles that we were running for the events. That was one of the strengths that I had, but that wasn't always like that. So at the start, putting things out there and getting no response, or getting very you can just tell. Like, it doesn't even have to be many people registering. You can just sort of tell if it's a lukewarm response. There's just not that enthusiasm for it. So that's what you'll learn. But don't be, another great thing is, even if your content that you know is going to be great, just change the title, because that can make so much of a difference. You put it up again 3 days later, different title, the same stuff you're going to run, and it can make a huge change.
And the thing is, your content generally, most people's content is not the issue. Most people have wonderful content.
Great content, because they're going to attract the right people. You've got to do that.
Yeah, and most people have wonderful content. They just don't. The pitching process of this content is where people get stuck, and this is why people don't get attracted or magnetized to that specific event. The second one is getting great two bums on seats. See, I'm not a perfectionist, Irene. I just put stuff out there. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a mistake. She goes.
English, that's all I say. English, second language.
English, not my first language. Macedonian, okay? All right, so get great I don't even know how to say it now. I'm getting all confused with my own slide.
Look at it.
Bums on seats, all right? You got to get good at getting bums on seats. And how do you get good? You have to start somewhere. And that's what I'm about to show you. Like, there's quite a lot of strategies coming up next. So I'm going to skip this one, but I want to talk more on number 3. And then we're going to go into the middle one quite a bit. I'm going to share with you the top 10 ways I get bums on seats into my events. And you certainly don't need to do all 10. As many of them that you can do, the better it is. And then I'm going to share with you the top 10 1%ers, the small actions that you can take that will get more people into your rooms. All right, calibration. I'll go through calibration first. So one of the biggest reasons, actually this is the biggest one why people don't profit from events, is because they have not calibrated the situation or the event correctly in order to upsell to a natural next step.
I personally think if people take notice of this step alone, can have a huge outcome in what they're going to do.
Because the mistake, so let me tell you the mistake I made in my first 12 months of doing my best, filling my rooms. Like, I was getting, 7 to 10 people, in my first year with no network. I worked very hard to get those 7 to 10 people in the rooms. And, then the numbers grew and grew, and now I control the numbers as to how many people I want in my rooms. So calibration is, I would deliver, let's say, free or a low-cost event, and then I would I would sell from the stage my high-end coaching packages that would vary from $3,000 to $7,000 or $8,000. Now, a person coming in either for free, which some of them were for free because I was running them in chiropractic centers, then being asked, hey, now you've got to spend $3, $7, $10,000, that was really, really far-fetched. So from depending on the amount of time that you spend with people, and depending on obviously the content and how qualified they are coming into the event, that is also you need to figure out then what you're going to sell. Usually, if the less time you spend, the smaller the upsell. The less qualified the audience is, also the smaller the upsell. The bigger and longer then you can have, obviously, because you have spent more time and you have gotten to know them more, they've gotten to know you more. There's a lot more trust and intimacy. Therefore, you can increase your price point and what your call to action is at the end of that event. So generally, I would say, just as a rule of thumb for all of you, if you are a guest speaker at an event, something that's going to be less than a couple of $100, if you're speaking for 20 minutes, half an hour, or even 45 minutes, I would be selling something that's less than a couple of $100. If you are running like a half day or a full day event, I would be, and this is, you guys know that we run half day events that sell into our author program, and let me just make it clear to you why we do that, and you, sort of, because it might sound a bit contradictory as to what I'm teaching you, but what we advertise with our Ultimate 48-Hour Author Blueprint for Business Success is exactly that. So the people that we are attracting in that particular event are ready, they're thinking, they already know they're coming there for authoring, and they want to write a book. So they are a very qualified group of people, which means then we don't even sell the program off the stage. We then further qualify them into a qualifying chat. So really our call to action is there's no cost to our call to action. Our call to action is to have a discussion to see if they would qualify, how they would position their book, and then obviously if they're a good fit, then we would offer for them to come along to a retreat. So that's a little bit different than, say, if you're doing a more broader topic where the call to action is really, really not obvious. So if in that case, it was like a half day, a full day event, like a $3,000 price point. The longer it goes, a couple of day event, you can definitely sell into the 10,000 or more price point because of that time frame that you have used. So I trust.
I was just going to say, so some of those, the big entrepreneurs in the personal development space
Yes.
that you see all around, that's why they can afford to run, come to these 2-day events for free.
Yes.
And they're giving you 30, 40 years of their experience, and they really don't hold back. They share a lot of stuff in there.
Yes.
But you form that relationship with people over the 2 days, and then they just sell that from the stage, their next step. But they've aligned it because they've given a lot, so they can sell then a high-end program from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And they know what their numbers are.
They do. They've done their numbers.
Yeah, they know exactly what their conversion rate and all of that. I say if you're starting out or you haven't done hundreds of events, to this day we're tweaking and testing and measuring and trialing different things. The slower you go or the smaller and you increment your course to action, the more likely you will have for success, and the more longer your lifetime value of your clients also going to be, because generally those that learn to love you, or that they start loving you, trusting you, and wanting to do business with you, will most of the time do business with you multiple times.
For a long, long time. Yeah, and lifetime value of the clients underappreciated.
And multiple times. All right, so I'm just going to read a quick comment question from Karen. By the way, if there's comments or questions, please do post them up as we're going through these. I'm going to take one breath and I'll deliver these 10 strategies. So Karen just said, would you suggest find the venue first and then say, okay, now you need to do it to avoid procrastination? Actually, they're the two things that I do, Karen. I pick my date, I ring the venue, we lock it in, and that's it. It's happening. That's it. I and Megan just said that is what I did. And for start of the year, for example, guys, I do 6 months at a time. I sit down for an admin day and I ring all the venues. I obviously pick my dates first.
You just outsourced that too, remember?
And I just outsourced it to Stuart now, but not until recently.
Yes.
Right. In January, I sat down. and I started ringing all my venues, and I said, this is the date I'm coming to your venue, because obviously I've used them before. A couple of them I needed to find new venues. I spent the whole day ringing, filling out forms, booking in flights. So I did everything I needed to do in a matter of 48 hours. I had all my, and you guys know I do a lot of events. Booked all my venues, booked all my flights, booked if I needed accommodation or whatever it is that I needed. And that's it. Then it's set. Once I have my promo stuff, obviously I can pass that on to my Facebook guy. I do use Facebook advertising. You guys would have seen my ads. And he then loads all the different pages, which means I can then get all the registration pages, which means if I'm out and about and running into people and they're telling me, or running into them on Facebook or social media, and they say, oh, I want to come to your Gold Coast event, when are you coming to the Gold Coast? Well, I know, 15th of April. Hey, here's the page, register, come along. Like, I get an average 5 to 8 people myself, just because I've got the pages ready early. And I'm just talking to people left, right, and centre. And I said, well, I'm coming. And if you give people some notice, they'll go, well, I've really wanted to see you for a while. So therefore, they'll book into the pages. So that's our rule. The minute the venue and the date is booked, the page gets created. And this is the same page, because our signature event doesn't change. All that changes is the venue and date, and they set up the whatever they do, the background of the payments. But you guys can do this all yourself in eventbrite.com or Sticky Tickets or Try Booking. There's many different event set up platforms where you can set up all your events and then have all your links and keep them in one spreadsheet. So yeah. Who is the best? What do you mean, Megan, by who is the best? All right, let's go through.
Probably out of the online booking systems.
Oh, I've used Eventbrite quite a lot. I
think it's the easiest to navigate myself.
And it looks nicest.
Yeah.
Eventbrite. One word, event, and then brite.com, guys. All right. So 10 fills a room. What do I mean by that? And some of you may have heard me already say that, but generally I implement pretty much 10 strategies each time I want to fill a room, and most of these. Okay, so that might seem overwhelming, but it doesn't take that long once you've got a really good repetitive system happening. And some of this you can absolutely outsource to people that are helping you out, or if you have a virtual assistant. By the way, just as I am saying virtual assistant, I now officially have had one for a good one for a couple of months. Yeah. And last year we had one, but things didn't work out. But now I have really, really trained this one up. So she kind of tackles I would say 50% of this type of work on my behalf. My pre-events, my SMSs, my post-event thank yous, my postcards that I send out. So a lot of logistical things that can be very fiddly with events, but you want to leave a great impression. You want to keep in touch with people, posting on my behalf. Obviously now we outsource to Stuart the events and the bookings of flights and venues, so I can focus where my strengths are, which is going out there and delivering. So what are these 10 that fill the room? Okay, so number one, creating a Facebook event, okay, which means that as you're going out and about networking, you should always be connecting with them people. Once you've met them face to face, why not become friends with them? Why not connect with them on LinkedIn so that you can stay in touch with them? Because once you've friended them, you can absolutely invite them on to any of your events. The thing is, they may not be the ideal person for the event, but they might know someone who is, and you have got a warm network of people you have actually met. So I'm not suggesting friending everyone that you see. I have many people friend me that I've never ever met, and I always send a message to say, where the hell did you well, no, I don't say. I say, have we met before? Have we met before? Is it through mutual friends? Just want to know how we have connected. So then if they don't answer, don't accept them. If they do and someone's recommended me, certainly then I would accept them and nurture them through my network. All right, Meetup. Meetup is huge. Not, I've used it a bit, but sharing Meetup because in Bums on Seats book, Francesca talks a lot about Meetup. She obviously built her business to Meetup to 6 figures, and we share a lot of those strategies. And I have certainly used it myself to post up the Ultimate Business Support events. I've posted up some of my half-day events. It's a wonderful platform where people who you have never heard of you can start joining your meetup group, and you can start inviting them to events and nurturing.
Especially if your target market is startup business owners and things like that as well. That's a really great platform to attract because a lot of people there, they don't know where to go networking yet. They do looking for help. So if you can be there and be the authority figure, the leader, it's a great spot to attract that type of person in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a small fee. I think it's about $60 or $70 for 6 months.
Yeah, for 6 months.
Thereabouts for them to host. But it's a sophisticated platform, and you can attract people who've never heard of you and start expanding your network. Tali said, "What do you create? What do you create your own meetup group?" Yes, you create your own meetup group, Tali. Easy to use from Megan as well. Totally easy to use. All right, LinkedIn. Okay, so this is not a strategy to use all of the time, but occasionally if I'm going interstate, Stuart can go into my LinkedIn account and actually just inbox my Sydney contacts or my Perth contacts or my Adelaide contacts and actually let them know that I'm coming up 2 or 3 weeks before my event, and usually we get 2 or 3 tickets being purchased. Now, LinkedIn, a big warning is please do not inbox your connections too regularly. I would say at the most once in 6 weeks, if not longer, once every couple of months.
I'd say longer. Myself, the feedback that I've got is about every 3 months you'd want to be doing.
About every 3 months. So this is like a little top-up strategy that you might want to use every 3 months to contact your LinkedIn connections. Otherwise, it can become a bit spammy. And that's what you leave. That kind of more continuous connection is via your email marketing.
Yeah, so with LinkedIn very quickly, just rather than sending that, we're talking about the direct messaging people here, your connections.
Yes.
But just write so not just do a status update. If you actually write a post, which is almost like the LinkedIn blogs, that actually LinkedIn notifies all of your connections anyway, and you just do a sneaky little seed of your event through a blog. Have the link at the bottom to register, and the right people are going to read it and click through if it's suitable to them.
Yeah. So once every 3 months you can do an inbox. When I would kind of use it as the last sort of port of call. Where I want to really boost up the numbers because maybe
with the inbox, but then with the education through the blog,
once a week you can do
once
a week you can do a post and a little image and all that sort of stuff. No, we don't, We don't use premium LinkedIn.
Yes, it's got more effective targeting. We haven't needed it ourselves because I'm very familiar with the system. I'm sure I might get more advantage out of the other one, but at the moment it's not something that we've needed, but just extra expense that I don't think you need.
Yeah. And Sue, who's our LinkedIn expert on the call, she says LinkedIn doesn't notify everyone with posts now. Yeah. Okay, but it has worked really well, Sue, for us, just doing one where you're sharing a story and just really 90% value adding and having then a call to action at the end. So that's worked really, really well. All right, email marketing. Well, that is everyone should be building a database. If you don't have a database, you need to start one. Never too late to start one, and you need to nurture it and get it. Communicate with them, let them know. And certainly in running events, you should have a lead-up sequence of a number of emails that is going to let people know that your event's coming up. Now, emails are not to be written in a way that, hey, come to my event, it's nearly here. Hey, come to my event, 5 days to go. What we do is, and Stuart's an expert at this, he writes our emails and every single time it's through storytelling, it's through engaging, it's through having an interesting subject line so people open it. And really, realistically, again, the last 5 or 10% of the email is only the call to action. So you guys who are on the call tonight, you may have been it'll come through an email that he wrote, and you tell us, did he?
Yeah, I'd love to know, just very quickly, just either email or Facebook when you saw today's event.
Yeah, and what if you did see it through email? What did you think of the email? So because that's something that would be valuable for him to know. But I know that his emails are very engaging.
Not spammy.
They're not spammy. That's right. All right, let's keep going. I know we've got boom, boom, boom. We've got 10 minutes, and I've got another 15 things to share with you.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, networking. This is the original first way that I used to fill my rooms. It's like I'd go out and meet people, and then I'd have my little flyer and have my little iPad with my bookmark of how people would be able to book in with me on the spot, entice people, give them a special price if they book on the spot with you. This is what someone said before, like they're booking in too late. How can you do an early bird? Can you do a 24-hour special where you're selling buy one ticket, get one free? If you are meeting someone networking, can you get the person in for a cheaper ticket because they're then and they're with you in the room? What kind of special can you do? This is obviously talking about introductory, low-cost events and you running special promotions for them. That is, networking was the one and only way. I mean, I certainly did my best, still doing the above 4 strategies above networking when I was starting out, but I can say that I had the most success through actually meeting and
when
people.
You're not known, that's what you've got to be.
When you're not known, 2 events every week, you'll meet lots of people.
No connections, no Facebook friends, you don't have a list.
Yeah.
So where are you? Networking.
You go out networking and you just meet more people and then you connect with them and all that process then follows through. So I was getting 7 to 10 people in my rooms through people who know others. Those that actually wanted to support me would come along, and it was a great practice around, as well as I had to go through all of that to get to the success. Speaking is number 6. So speaking at an event, as I said, you don't sell anything that is bigger than a couple of $100. And a perfect invitation to speaking gig would be to come along to an introductory event, low-cost event, something that would be up to a couple of $100. Yeah. So looking out for those opportunities, I absolutely get a lot of bums on seats through speaking. And I know Emma's on the call from Sydney and from Business in Heels that night when I went and spoke there. I think about 4 people from that room came to my half day 2 days later. So that was a great boost to my numbers. Facebook ads, if you're in position to obviously be able to start working with someone who's going to help you with advertising your events, they will really be, I guess, a godsend because they surely boost up your numbers. Once you get positioning and testing and measuring out the way, which can take somewhere between 3 to 6 months to correctly find your sweet spot, then you can put the tap on, and really a certain amount of dollars would mean a certain amount of bums on seats, which has been working amazingly for us in the last 9 to 12 months. We've been doing it overall over 18 months, but the last 9 to 12 months, it really has been just like, yep, let's do this and put it on. And but I never rely purely on Facebook ads. I'll do everything I possibly can myself. And then those are the cherry on the top. And certainly it helps. It gives me more confidence. But we do invest. We invest about $50,000 on Facebook advertising and management of those ads through the people that we work with. So this is collectively ad spend as well as management fees. So that might sound a lot to you guys, but again, just think about, we are converting 7 figures in our business. So to pay, what is it, 5%? Is it 5%? 50, 20? What is it?
It's a low percent.
I don't know my maths tonight.
Yeah, no, it
doesn't matter. 5%, isn't it? To spend on marketing is totally reasonable. Strategic alliances. Okay, who has got your target market but is not in competition with you? So how can you cross promote, especially if you have got a similar size list? You can do this, or is what you're offering, your value proposition, going to add value to their clients? So therefore, they would send them along to your event. And certainly, thinking of special bonuses, offering a special affiliate price for their community, their network to your event. works really, really well. So once you start to get a bigger database, it's a lot easier, obviously, to do a
You're a lot
swap.
more appealing for people.
You're
to
a
want to
lot
swap
more
with you.
appealing. People start ringing you and asking you to collaborate and obviously do a cross promotion. Sponsors. Okay, so sponsors. If you're at that stage of the game, by being a sponsor or having sponsors, sometimes can pay for your venue costs. So this is just bringing back to the point that some people said, well, early in business you may not have the cash flow,
Yep.
but if you do have sponsors and you're putting them in front of people that are going to benefit from their message, then they could fund the food and the venue cost. Vice versa, if you become a sponsor, then obviously you will have the right to promote and be seen in front of your target market, which is I have invested in 3 big sponsorships this year, and it's proving to be very, very fruitful. But again, I had to take the leap of faith and go, okay, this is the right place for me to sponsor, and also I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that I get my return on investment.
And they're doing the right job. You've also got to, if you are paying someone as a sponsor, to make sure that they're doing, yes, you've got to be doing the work, but you've got to make sure that they're doing their end of the bargain too. So make sure you're regularly keeping in contact with them and seeing that you're both doing the best you can.
Yeah. And the last one is publicity, guys. So there is strategies to do and get free publicity, but your events can be promoted in local papers depending on where you're running. So you would need to submit a press release and an interesting news story idea that can be publicized, and therefore your event, you can have a call to action. We've done this for group book launches. I've done this when I've gone along to Perth in some of the.
It's great if you're doing the event somewhere else, not in your hometown. It's really great. A lot of the local area might be interested, especially if you're delivering and I'll just give you some ideas. So if you're delivering something on, maybe it's on domestic violence, or maybe it's on something that would be of interest to a community, that's where it's the sort of the local media, papers, radio could really pick up on that and then want to be mentioning that event.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so we've got 5 minutes. I'm not going to stop for questions or anything, but I've got 5 minutes to deliver the next 10, which is that make the bigger difference. These are my 1%ers that I do that really boost up my numbers in the rooms. And I will share very quickly what they are, because I know I want to always be respectful of your time, and then let you know what our opportunity and how to take this to the next level is. All right, so picture A or B for engagement. So what I've done a lot of times is put on 2 different outfits and saying, I'm getting ready for this event. Which one do you guys like? Or how should I wear my hair? And I'll put them side by side in one of those collage making apps, and I'll post it out there. Often I get 2 or 3 extra people coming to my event because they've seen me post it on Facebook and they've had a bit of fun. And all the stylists come out, the woodwork. And,
not only that, it just makes people, it becomes relevant. It becomes, remember, people want to do what other people want to do. So if all of a sudden everyone's commenting about whatever outfit or whatever it might be, and this event, they want to be at the event too because everyone else is commenting about it.
Yeah. All right, next one is reveal bits about the event in the lead up as a reminder of the event. So rather than, say my event's coming up, we shared before about sharing stories and engaging and only call to action at the end. But some of your excuses for emailing potential attendees would be to reveal extra bits, like a special speaker that's going to be at your event. Maybe you'll hold back where the venue will be, and then you'll reveal where the venue is and all that sort of stuff. So I know Francesca uses this particular strategy on Meetup, and it works really well and a great way to remind people and get more bums on seats. All right, pre and post event emails are crucial. All right, so often we will contact 10 days out, 3 days out, 24 hours out, and my virtual assistant does this on my behalf now. We often will offer a buddy to come along with a paid ticket, and we'll boost our numbers by 3 or 4 people. We generally offer 3 tickets. About 3 is the amount that we would also say yes in the room. And what this does is also keeps reminding people, but actually an additional thing we've started doing now is an SMS 3 days out to make sure people have got all the information, and that can be done remotely as well. All right. Fill out assessment or homework beforehand. Gives people a lot more commitment. They're starting to do things for you. They're actually seeing value up front. And what it can do is increase your conversion rate. And as you have gotten them to do something in the process, and definitely the commitment in coming along. So even if it's a low cost event, guys, generally you should get a fantastic turn up rate, but there have been occasions where sometimes 4 or 5 people haven't turned up and they've paid for a ticket. So doing again as much as you possibly can in your follow-up processes, in your post and pre-event logistics is absolutely crucial, so everyone knows and is communicated with clearly. All right, number 5, live broadcasting. So live streaming is well and truly here. Everyone wants to see things in real time, and live broadcasting before, during, and after encourages current or future bookings. Okay, so I've been doing the live streaming for since Facebook obviously opened it up. Been on Periscope for a while, and it works amazingly in getting people curious and interested, and you can show them a bit during the event, and then they want to come along to the next one. Phoning and use of SMS to build rapport. Again, yep, SMS is a bit closer to the person than email, so that works really well. And if you had the time and you're early on in the journey, pick up the phone and say to your participants, I am so happy that you're coming. I can't wait to meet you. You might have a couple of pre-prepared questions to learn about your audience a little bit more. Like, do that extra. Those extra 1%ers really will increase your profiting from events. Find promoters that love what you offer and offer them an affiliate. So some people are very influential and they're happy to promote others because they have a huge network, but obviously it would be great for you to reward them vice versa. And for example of affiliates for us, myself and Francesca are each other's affiliates. So when I help her with her events, which I think are absolutely fantastic, and vice versa, she thinks, oh, you got to think that of each other, otherwise it's not authentic. We promote each other. Like, I'll promote her in Melbourne, she'll promote me in Brisbane, and we get chocked full rooms, like double the numbers than we would say just doing it ourselves. Build a list of interested people to follow up. This is one of my secret weapons. Often people tell me, oh, next time you're in Sydney, I'd love to come to your event. Next time you're in Perth. And I'll just add them to my trusty little spreadsheet.
Even if you see them, they've only commented on a post on Facebook.
Yep, I will put them on my trusty little spreadsheet of each of the cities, and about 6 or 8 weeks before I go along to that city, I'll inbox them or send them an email saying, hey, I'm coming up. You know, you said you were interested. Would you like to book in? Hey, here's the link. So I have my little secret spreadsheet happening, and people kind of feel special that I've remembered them. Last 2, have all your links and payments quickly accessible, like in a spreadsheet, and give to those interested ASAP and follow up on the bookings. If someone says, yeah, when are you next in Sydney? I go 23rd of September, June. I'm running my half day there. Here's my link. If you want to come along, register. We do book these out fairly quickly, and which is the truth. So I have got like a spreadsheet that I can access any event, any link ASAP. All right, last one is ask for referral from attendees for the next event. Leave space on your feedback form if you're going to do feedback forms. If not, you can have a little slip that they can actually invite a friend at a guest special ticket price, and you can follow up and let that person know that their friend referred them, and pick up the phone. That's the best way you're going to get the most people committing to your event. Oh, all right. I've got through them, and still 3 minutes to go. So Con goes, you got to do a blab. Yeah, I've got to do lots of things, Con, but there's only one of me, and there's only so much that I can do. So I do the best I can. And absolutely, I've done one blab before, but time at the moment is of the essence. So guys, where to from here? We have got things coming up that obviously that some of you may know of and some of you don't. But basically, there are 3 options. Bums and Seats Mastermind started at the beginning of this year, and we run it live with a very intimate group here in Diamond Creek in Melbourne. And we have one spot available because our next Bums and Seats event is this Thursday on the 17th. And we have 10 more full days of training. So this is where we deliver everything, obviously, and make people accountable. Why did we do this a year-long program? Is because you can't trust people. You can't leave them to their own devices, because I could teach this information in 3 full days, but people will go off, do one event and come back and maybe do 2 or 3 and go, this is not for me. Running events, getting bums and seats is an art form. Okay, there's certain aspects of it that you got to get feedback on. You got to go out there, do it, come back and get feedback and tweak and adjust. So our group that was started from day one, which was 2 months ago, has this week run their first events. One of them's got one tomorrow, and we can't wait to see them on Thursday to obviously give them feedback. So they've already set up their second event. So this is real-time live execution of events and coming back and hanging out with a small group, getting all your meals, getting taken care of 9 to 5 every month. It's always on a Thursday, and our next one is this coming Thursday. There's still time. This is the last. There's only one spot, so it's the last spot that we will fill, because then our group is the number that we wanted. There is a live streaming version, so we do have 2 people from interstate that join via live streaming, and they only get the morning session, because the afternoon session is more of a, I guess, private, intimate thing with the live participants. But the morning session, 9 to 1, is all the content that we teach. So generally the interstaters watch, and we also film. If anyone misses, everything is filmed, and we've got it all in a secret area and a secret group. And last of all, some of you that are already on the call are already coming along to this, but next week is our Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclass. So there are those 3 options that are available if you guys want to go deeper with this with us. So what do you do? So there's no point in coming. We don't know who you are and where you're at in this game. So how do we work this out? Is that we want to unpack where you need to go next. So there's 3 options, and we would put you into one of 3 or none if you're kind of not ready to take that next step. So Stuart and I have set aside some time tonight. I think tonight for 4 of you, and tomorrow for 5 or 6 appointments. I think we've set aside. I'm going to put these links in the chat box, and in those times, what we want to do is speak to you one-on-one, and we want to figure out what would be the next logical step. Like, which one would you fit into? So I've just posted up the time trade link, and the next one I'm posting up is the PayPal link. So there is an investment, and we're happy to deduct that investment if you do one of those obviously programs. If you say do the Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclass, that's $247. We would deduct the $47, you pay $200. Okay, what we're going to do in this 20 minutes is work out your top 3 strategies for profitable events. We're going to give you the month 1 live stream footage of our mastermind, so you can check it out if you're not sure how awesome it is. And number 3, we're going to give you a Bums on Seats workbook with templates that I have used for my event success. So the investment is $47, and first of all, you're going to obviously either book your time and then pay your payment via the PayPal link, or do it the other way around. But those are the things that that you need to do to get this sorted out.
They go to everyone?
Sorry? Oh, sorry, it didn't go to everyone. It just went to Megan. All right, hang on. I got to fix this up. Copy. Hang on, guys. I've sent it just to Megan because I was talking to her privately before when we started, because she was posting things in the hang on, chick.
There we go. So, yeah, that is in the right spot now. Sorry, guys. I just noticed it. Something came up as red colour, so we put it in the wrong one. So this is for those of you that know that events are something that you want to do and you want to actually get them done. So get over your fear of hosting them, running them, and start to do all of those things that you said at the start that you want to do with your events. There we go. Hopefully everyone can now see them.
And we'd
and
like
they are
to,
in business.
and we're not in a rush to go off straight away, of course. We just wanted to make sure and be respectful of your time if you needed to go. So what we wanted to open up the floor to now is obviously any questions and comments. So what I want to do is read through what has come up. Okay, so originally through email, Facebook,
so
email. Okay, so this was emails and Facebook that people saw it. Phone call from Rosie. Okay. Brilliant email, and I'm a copywriter and loved it. From Irene. That's a good compliment. That was good. Karen says email, and I responded immediately. Fantastic. How do free webinars fit into this? Yolanda. Okay, so Yolanda, free webinars, I'm just guessing that you were asking about the calibration of selling. Can you just confirm if you're still on the call, because that comment might have come a bit earlier. So I'll just look through some of the other one. Put on aroundyou.com.au to be picked up by local leader. Okay.
Someone might be giving a tip here. Looks like Sue's giving a tip about.
Tip is put on you.com.au, as in YOU, to be picked up by local leader newspapers. There you go.
Great tip. So check that out, guys.
Creates conversation from Megan. Boohoo! I wanted. I love your no-brainer package. Yes, well, it is a no-brainer package, isn't it? How funny are you? Yes, thank you. Okay, so Yolanda. Okay, so what do you upsell in terms of webinar stuff? So Yolanda, again, from a free webinar, it is very unlikely that you should sell anything that's more than $300-400. I would suggest, look, we're just offering an opportunity to chat. It's $47. You still get immense value as to what's being provided. We know that over exceeds, we charge $1,000 an hour. So you just divide that by 3 and then add on all the other things that are on there. So it is a no-brainer, and that's what Mel said before. You do have to create no-brainer packages for people, absolutely build in bonuses, but really like low risk, low cost, so that people can have an opportunity to further get to know you and feel safe with you, if you like.
We've had a few clients trial paid webinars, so they actually charge people to come along and listen to their content. If you are doing a paid webinar, you've obviously got to make sure that the value that you're giving is a lot higher than what you're charging people for it. But if they're coming to a paid event, obviously your upsell can be higher because they're already spending money with you.
Yeah. Sorry, I got the thing before wrong from Sue. It was aroundyou.com.au. So you can post up your event there to get picked up by a local leader, aroundyou.com.au. All right, thanks, Sue. Question from Suze. Do you run higher end events where ticket prices are $300 plus for a day event? Absolutely, you can run higher end events, and from a full day event or a 2-day event, you can definitely have the very next step. Like that would be your premium. That would be where people really go into an immersive experience with you and get the most of your time and attention, Sue. So absolutely, and guys, the sky's the limit, really. There's people out there who sell $100,000 programs and events. So don't limit yourself. Like anything that's up to $500 is low end. My belief is 47, 247, 497. That's what all low end. Anything over the 4 figures, I would say you're getting into more of the high end.
Yes.
Mel, how do you create that PayPal link that works direct to my account? It automatically logs into my account. Awesomely convenient. It's just a PayPal button, Mel. That's all we do is we create a PayPal button. We give it a name, and it gives us that unique code. So then, obviously, if your computer's into your, goes to PayPal, it'll prompt you that it is on your account. On my phone.
That was Sue probably saying about the typo earlier.
Okay. Thanks, Sue.
You.
Thanks, Yolanda. Yolanda says thank you. Sue just said, do you think that there is a different way to attract people that pay? I'm saying, you mean 300 to 500 plus? Look, I think people need to meet us um, to get, to meet us, to get to know us, and to hand over higher amounts. You do need that face-to-face connection. Otherwise, you would have to have maybe worked with them through some online program for a for a period of time, have had multiple touch points for them to come along. I think in this day and age, we still, in order to feel comfortable handing over thousands of dollars, we need to physically meet the company, the people, to get a real sense for what they stand for. Anyway, that is my belief. It might not be true. There might be some online person says, "No, I sell $5,000-$6,000 programs." But look, I have always said I never teach anyone that something that I haven't done myself. So the model that I run does have a face-to-face component. It works very successfully. Sometimes I only need to meet people obviously once, and then I nurture that relationship over a period of time. It's not about a quick fix. It is a long-term strategy. Like I said to the guys when I was last week in Perth and Adelaide, I said some of you I'll work with immediately, and others I might not work for 6, 12 months, 18 months, maybe a few years' time. And that has happened to me many times before. But what I'm really good at is just keeping in touch, just staying in touch.
Because you don't go away.
Yeah, I don't go
So
away.
many people, and I mean that in the right way.
Yes.
So many people are just like, they're so hot and heavy early, but then they just disappear.
Yes.
So that's the biggest thing, where it's just in business, you just have to stay consistent.
Yeah, stay consistent and keep being around. And of course, then people go, well, if she's been around for that long, she must be doing something right. Must be doing and must be providing if I've seen this program being run now for 10 retreats, and all these people are showing their books and all this sort of stuff, then, the results don't lie. You're welcome, Mel. I want to come to the 2-day event next week. All right, Carla. I can send you a link when we get off, so to that page, because I've got my trust link ready in my spreadsheet. I'll send you the link, and the 2-day event is $247, so it's an amazing 2-day event.
It's going to be very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
You're going to be going to see some things that you won't quite expect.
Yeah, I know. It's to get you guys out of the comfort zone. Thank you, Irene. Can't wait. I'll send you that when we get off the phone now. What minimum would you, hang on, Megan paid, ring me tomorrow afternoon, please. Megan, did you book in a time? Please book in a time through the time trade link, because there's certain times we can only do tomorrow, and it's most likely going to be Tuesday. Okay, good. Perfect. All right, we'll call you at your scheduled time. Mel, what minimum number you'd run a webinar for? One, if it's recorded, as they can use it for other purposes and practice. Oh, you run a webinar if there wasn't anyone around, you guys. You'd run a webinar even if there was no one. You pretend like there's hundreds of people, right? That's what you do in the early days. So absolutely, you turn up because you get the recording. Right now we're getting the recording right, and we can then impart this valuable information without having to host it again. So there you go. See you next week. Thanks for the time tonight. See you, Carla. I'll send you that link. Savitri, do you run any other 2-day workshops in the year? Yes, we've got 2 more coming up, 19th and 20th of July and 26th and 27th of October. So those are the 2. Many thanks. See you guys. I know a lot of you have to go, and we've loved hanging out with you. We will chat to those of you that have want to have the chat and have already booked in. So stay tuned, and thank you, Irene. I'll see you soon. I need to sort out a time to see you soon as well. Yes, Mel, you shouldn't have registered you cancelled your webinar. It doesn't matter. You could have had a recording. Anyway, you learn. Thank you, Elaine, as well. See you later, and good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
See ya.